Hey, how you going there? Thanks for tuning in. For those of you who are online, please jump in straight away and let me know that you're around. Give me the likes. Let me know that you're watching, and thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Comment below if this audio is good. Just type yes in the comments just to make sure that you can hear me properly. Hopefully the internet will hold up. It's been a little bit shaky today. But let's get stuck into this. I've been giving this a lot of thought, and in my daily travels, I kind of think of all this stuff, this deep and meaningful shit every day. And I've just had a couple of moments with myself and with my clients, had a couple of little tests that have come my way, come their way as well. So I'm helping them transition through these moments in life that tend to test you. So it reminded me of interview that I did with some success coaches. You may have heard of them, you may not. If you haven't, just look them up. They're great people, great trainers as well. Shane and Jess Fozzard. These guys are amazing, and I got to interview them last year. And one of the things that Jess said was that a quote, that life happens for you and not to you. All right. I truly believe that this is true in my life, but it wasn't always the case, because in younger years, I used to think that perhaps life was happening to me, as in like I've been dealt a bad hand and things have been happening for negative reasons. Why me? I had that sort of victim mentality. One of the things that I know now is that this is kind of life's little way of testing you and building resilience within you, building intestinal fortitude, building courage, strength, like all the good stuff that we need in times of turmoil, in times of struggle, in times where we can't see the forest for the trees. We need these things. So and you can actually attest to this in terms of, say, the youth in our life these days, because I think that if you're anything like me, like I'll be 40 this year, right? So any sort of Gen Xers out there, you would have grown up in harder times. Your parents would have really worked their asses off for the things that you had within your life. You probably went without a lot of the time. And so therefore what happens is that you have children now. And so what you want to do is you want to give them everything that you didn't have when you were younger. And so what that ends up doing is breeding a bunch of humans that don't really have a strong work ethic. They think the universe owes them a salary, all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of like, we've got these softer people emerging through. And I'm not saying all people are like that, but, Gen Ys have a tendency to be labeled as people that just don't know what hard times are all about. And I think that we can claim some responsibility for that. So my thing is, like what I do for my kids is, although I do a lot for them, there's a lot that I don't do, and I let them, scrape their knees, and I let them get some grazes and all that kind of stuff. And so I kind of just, build some resilience with them, because I want them to grow up to have those kinds of traits and know that they earned it all. When I do research in business, it's the same thing. The people that have been given or have earned their wealth through their mum and dad, or they earned their wealth in terms of they've been given, like money to go invest in a company, then they just go invest. They go and buy big buildings, shop fit outs, all that kind of stuff. They get fancy cars and they drive a fucking business to the ground, Whereas those who have spent the time living on, 2-minute noodles and eating fucking beans, all right, to build up a business, and then have worked through a marriage, a family, and all that kind of stuff. And slowly, like the road's a bit rougher, it's a lot slower, but once they get there, they've got a stable base, they've got a stable foundation, and they've worked through that. So I want to speak to that today, and I want to let you know that if you're experiencing these things, you're not alone. In my life, I've had so many setbacks. Like, again, I'm going to be 40 in May, right? So I've had heaps ups and downs, and it's these moments in life that shape you into the person that you need to become in order to achieve the things that you want. So for me, growing up, particularly in high school, I got bullied daily. I was bullied every single day from the moment I stepped into high school, into year 7, right through to about midway through to year 9 into year 10. All right, so, and I left in year 10, right? And year 10 was probably my best year in high school, but I was bullied every fucking day, right? I had fights every day. And I was labeled, it's hard to believe now, but I had a youthful looking face and long hair, and I was a bit of a pretty boy, and I just got fucking hassled. I got labeled for being gay. Like, they were questioning my sexuality at a young age, right? It didn't help that I was at an all-boys school. It fucking just drove everyone nuts, and these boys would just gang up on me. I was having fights at school, fights in the streets, and I'd have this chip on my shoulder. It'd follow me everywhere I went. Moments like that, when I look back on it now, it built character, it built strength, it built resilience, it built intestinal fortitude. It built, like, that chip on my shoulder I used to fight, I used to claw back. So I have the ability to bounce back from tough situations. These days, that kind of behavior is magnified in terms of social media, but it fucking kills people, right? It drives them to their death. And I think for me, it was like, I think I didn't have social media. I wasn't bullied online or anything like that, but I was bullied every single day at school. So when I look back on it now in reflection, I know why that had to happen. Once I left school, mate, I had a job. Like, I literally had 30 fucking jobs before I was 23. I found my way into real estate, but I had a job every month, every 6 months, like Dad said. I was just going from job to job. I could never make things work. And whenever I got dissatisfied, I left. And, it was those things. I thought at that time, perhaps this was, it was something wrong with me, right? There was something that I had to do with myself. It was a low self-esteem. It was, low skill set. I didn't get a proper education, all that kind of things, right? I now know that zigging and zagging led to me to where I am now. I had to develop people skills. I had to develop, resilience again. I had to develop a thicker skin. When people said no, I kept going, right? I kept doing the interviews. Before long, I got to tell you, I was so good at the interview process. I mean, I had people interviewing, like I was interviewing them by the time it literally built my skills up, right? I take the good moments as well as the bad moments. These are moments that shape you. Like, for me, falling in love with my beautiful wife, Anita. It's like, getting married, all that kind of stuff. Those beautiful moments, they're moments that change your paradigm of the world. They're moments that shape you. They're moments that have you see things as a little bit different, from a different perspective. Buying a business. I've been working for myself as a sole trader since I was about 19 years of age. But then jumping in and out of jobs as well when businesses didn't go good. But I bought my real first business at 27. So I ran that real estate business for 10 years. Buying that was like a momentous sort of moment in my life. It was fantastic. But then also, like, within 6 months, I was nearly closing the doors. I was nearly going broke to the point where I had $14,000 in the bank and I had about $35,000 worth of bills. I just didn't know how to fucking make it work, right? I called my CEO at that time and said, "You got to find me a buyer." And he said, "Get down to the pub, have a couple of cans to harden the fuck up, get back into it." So again, that resilience, that intestinal fortitude, the ability to bounce back, to think on your feet, to come up with solutions, to be solutions based. These are moments that have shaped me. And I did it again, like I almost went broke again a couple of years later. But again, I built it back up. I sold that business. I sold it in a climate that, wasn't really conducive to making a really good profit, but I did it in that respect. I did it saving face because there was, things that I had to do within that business to build it up to a point to be able to sell. I had to hold on to that sale. It wasn't easy to find a buyer and then hold on to that buyer. These are talents and strengths that have been developed out of tough times, right? So these are the moments that get to shape me, all right? When I would have been about 27 7 when I bought the business, so 28, 29, my son was born, my first son. Right? And like with my boys, I delivered the boys. All right, this is like I hope I'm not getting my obstetrician into trouble here, but you know he was there with me naturally. But I said to him like I could deliver him if I could. You know, I'd love to get involved in it. And he said, well, you can if you want to, and he allowed me to help deliver my boys. I pulled them out. I'm the first one to hold them on my chest. You know what I mean? Like it was like to pull them out and to have them in my arms, and then I handed them to Anita. Like I did that with all 3 boys. Those moments will always stay with me. That's a bond that I'll always have with my children. So it's something that I just would like, I cherish for the rest of my life. It has shaped me. It's created me as a father, right? But between my first son and third, and I say third or second, we lost a little baby girl. Okay? Fuck, if I tear up. It gets me every single time. You know, Alessandra was born, 17, 18 weeks, you know, into the pregnancy and didn't make it. It was the shittiest fucking time of my life. Just the shittiest time. Such a kick in the guts. You know, it almost destroyed Anita and I. It was just such a fucking terrible time. But you know, like I cherish moments now more than ever. I have so much more gratitude now than what I've ever had in my life, because I just know how precious life is, you know. So like after the loss, like a couple of years later, we had 18 months later we had Isaac, and then 18 months later after that we had Lucas. You know what I mean? Like there are blessings that come after some of these misfortunes, you know. You know, I lost a friend of mine, one of my best mates, who got me into bodybuilding and all that kind of stuff, and yeah, he was having a hard time with depression. He was struggling. He was taking tons of medication that he shouldn't, and he took his own life. You know, to lose one of your best mates at you know, he would have been shit. It was Mark would have died this day, like today. I think it's got to be somewhere around about 8 or 9 or maybe 10 years ago. You know, like it's just, I think of him every day. And again, these moments, they shape you. They make you who you are. You think it's the shittiest time, and why you, and why is that friend, you know, why is it happening to me? But these are the moments that when the shit hits the fan, when things don't go well, when you have tough times, when you hit moments of despair, when you hit hurdles that are setting you back and you think that life is insurmountable, you know, these moments make you feel like, man, is this all you got? You know, it's like the scene out of Forrest Gump, where, you know, there's a storm coming, you know, and Lieutenant Dan goes, is this all what you call a fucking storm? Is this all you got? You know, it's like, that's how I feel when I get knocked down in business and in life and in my marriage and with kids and with friends, all that kind of stuff. I'm like, this all you got? You know, like, fucking deal me a good hand, man, because I can handle anything. The shit that I've been through, you don't want to fucking know about. So, you know what I mean? Like, I basically have built that character. I'm not saying that it doesn't affect me. It affects me massively. However, I have the ability to bounce back from those tough times. And it's because of these moments in life that have shaped me into the person that I needed to become, because I think that my truer tests are still to come as I build a business and a lifestyle business that can enable me to inspire millions of people and travel the world with my family. Like, they're the things that I want. So, look, you know, another moment in time is when I was traveling overseas for the first time. I took all 3 kids and Anita. We went to Europe, and I sat at a lake. It's called Lake Orkney in Macedonia, and I sat in the lake, and I just realized at that time that everything that I've been chasing for the last 10 years in real estate and building that business, was not the thing that I wanted to chase, right? It was like, that was the catalyst to me changing the careers. I realized at that time that I was missing out on the meaning of life. And this to me was the meaning. It was experiences, not things, right? I understand money's important. You need money to travel, right? But I wanted big cars, big houses, fast cars. I wanted all the boats and all that kind of stuff. I don't want that anymore. I want experiences. I want to travel the world. I want to look at different places. I want to say to when my kids go to school and they do, geography, whatever the fuck that is, it's kind of like, yeah, when I went there, this is what it's really is. So instead of reading books, they just experience life for what it is and what it has to offer. So these are lessons. These are tests. These are sent to you for a reason. Okay, and at that time you will think like, this is happening to me, I'm being dealt a bad hand, and I'm sure you guys have got plenty of stories that would top mine, so I get it. I don't say this to play down those experiences, but what I do say is that these moments are sent to test you. There is a lesson in every moment, either good or bad, and it's your ability, your mission to take that away and to implement it into your life. When you don't learn the lesson, then life shows up with another lesson, and it keeps bashing you down and keeps bashing you down until you learn the lesson. Once you learn the lesson, you move on, you get to the next level. And those people that feel like that they're a victim in life because things are, they're just meeting the wrong man all the time, or meeting the wrong woman all the time, or nothing seems to get ahead in life. They can't lose the weight, they can't build the business, whatever that may be. They haven't learned the lessons. They haven't cultivated the reason why they're doing things this way is not the way, and then to learn and implement and to improve into something that's a little bit different. It's life's way of going, like, you're off track. You need to go back on track, right? And even when things like, people passing away, it's like, how do you have control over that? Well, you don't have control over that moment, but you have control of how you respond to that moment. You have control over how you now view the world. Right? So instead of working 100 hours a week, knowing that your friend who's only 35 fucking died because he committed suicide, then you go, you know what? I'm going to figure out ways to live life that are going to enhance my life, my quality of life, so I can spend more time and have those moments with the people that I love the most. Because life's precious, because life's too short. It sounds cliche, but it is what it is. How many people do you know that are working every single day, 10 hours a day, 12, 15 hours a day, and they're just in the fucking rat race and they don't see the forest for the trees? They've got the blinkers on. They don't know. They're unaware. And these are the people that I just want to shake and go, you know what? If you're unhappy, fucking leave. Right? Do something different. Do something that lights you up, because I can guarantee you that this does not mean a single thing if you leave this world without having a meaningful relationship with your own wife, with your children, with the people that love you the most. It's experiences, not things. And I think we've all been led up the garden path to go and attain a bigger house, a fancier car, and all the rest of it. But that's not what success is. That's not what happiness is. Right? Happiness is right here within you. It's right here, right now. It's in this very moment. And if you can be happy within this very moment, whatever other blessings come your way, just enhance the situation. Okay, if this has been any use for you, if you've enjoyed this, then please hit the like button, hit the love button, and just send them across the screen. Let me know that this is actually impacting you in any way. If you know of someone that can utilize this information, share this with them and let them know that they are not alone, and hopefully this will inspire them to get stuck into life. Until we meet again, I'll see you on the next video.